I'm Donnell McAdams, and I am the designer of the Quick Easy tools. Today I'm going to demonstrate the Quick Easy Mitered binding tool and some of the applications. The Quick Easy Mitered binding tool will make completing your quilting and craft projects much quicker and a lot easier. The purpose of the Quick Easy Mitered binding tool is to create perfect borders or faux bindings for your table mats, placemats, hot pads, candle mats, and it can even be used in heirloom sewing to create the hem stitching. The mitered corner is on the back in the heirloom. Another example of the hem stitching, and you see the mitered corner on the back. To begin the technique of using the Quick Easy Mitered binding tool, we have shown you here what your project is going to look like at this stage. You will have trimmed your batting equal to the front of your quilt or your placemat or whatever project you're working on. We would then measure 1.5 inches from that edge using the ruler and trimming this with your rotary cutter. 1.5 inches. Finished, it will be 3/4 of an inch. After you have done the trimming, you are then going to press in the outer edge of your backing to meet the edge of your top. Keep in mind this could be the other way. You could be taking the front to the back. For this purpose, we're talking about bringing the back to the front. You will then need the Quick Easy Mitered binding tool, and you will notice that it is etched with lines in 3 different positions, and you have a diagonal edge. You are simply going to take that square and place it on the corner, matching that etched line up with the edge of your quilt top and batting. The diagonal will help you to see that you have it on there exactly square. At this point, you are going to use either a mechanical pencil or a washout marker, and you are going to draw the line at the edge of the diagonal. You will then remove the Quick Easy Mitered binding tool, and you are going to draw the line where the diagonal line intersects with the fold so that you can determine that exact point. You then fold back your corner and take a straight pin and put it into the intersection of those, right in the middle of those 2 lines. You may hit it the first time, but most often you will not. And so you are going to pull the pin back and get it so that it's right on that intersection. And once you've achieved that, pull the pin down so that the head of the pin meets right to the fabric. Then you can push it back up and put it through your fabric to hold it securely. I would recommend placing another pin perpendicular to that line and closer to the fold. The fold is over here. We are then going to stitch from this point up to that intersection, back to the fold, and back to the middle. You may find it's easiest to come to the point and pivot and stitch back rather than using your reverse. After you have stitched it, it will look like this. Again, as a reminder, you started in the middle, went to that intersection point, came back to the fold, and back to the center. After that is completed, you are going to take your scissors and you are going to cut 1/4 inch from the line and the stitching. You're going to simply be cutting off the corner of this point where you have actually laid it back on itself. You will then cut a little bit to the point so that it will have a nice turn, but don't cut that too close. After you have done that, it will look like this. Your drawn line is right here, and this is the angle I was talking about. Don't get too close to that point so that when you push it out, you end up with a hole there. You've stitched from the middle, out to that intersection, back to the fold, and back to the center. Now we are simply going to lay that piece down flat, and using a point turner, much better than a pencil, you're going to push that point out, and that will push the batting and the quilt top right out into that point. You can see this edge is almost turning exactly by itself where it's supposed to go. This is a finished edge that's backstitched, so that's not going to be a raw edge. This is what the completed technique will look like. It is just waiting to be stitched along this edge. I recommend using a narrow zigzag that pretty much zigs on one side and zags to the other. And if you do that in a very, very small zigzag, you are going to notice that you cannot even see that stitch. It's much easier to use a zigzag than it is to use a straight stitch. Of course, you could hand stitch or you could use a decorative stitch. Probably shows up best on this piece. There is a very narrow zigzag holding that in place. Zigzag is easier than using a straight stitch. You could use a decorative stitch, or as I said, you could hand stitch. If you have a machine that has an edge joining foot on it, or some sort of a flanged foot that will allow you to guide, that's a good foot to use. I have used any of the, even a buttonhole foot that has an edge on it that can guide right along there, works very well. Sometimes even your blind hem foot will be a good foot. You can just experiment and see which foot works best for you. I hope this video demonstration of the Quick Easy Miter binding tool has shown you how quick and easy it is to complete your projects with a bound edge by bringing the back to the front to form a perfect and easy binding. You will be able to complete many projects and save hours of handwork by using the Quick Easy Miter binding tool. Ask for the Quick Easy Miter binding tool at your favorite quilt shop. If they do not carry our tools, please ask them to consider doing so. You can also place your secure order on our website at www.sewbizmarion.com or call 800-500-3830 to contact our store. Thank you for your interest in Quick Easy Tools.